Hey everybody, welcome to today's stream. Almost forgot to turn the mic on. Welcome to today's stream. I hope everybody's doing good today. So we are going to be dunking some Shamrocks. St. Patrick's Day is coming up soon, and I was actually on top of things. I thought ahead, and I picked up some Shamrock glitter. I found it. It was actually kind of tough to find. They didn't have it at Glitter Hippo, which I was a little disappointed about, but I did manage to find it on Etsy, a store called Back Fist. I'll get a shot of this jar in a second. Back Fist, they have all kinds of glitters, like tons of different kinds of glitters. So new source of fun glitters. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to just make some blanks. So we're just going to go for, like clear and just dump some glitter in. I know this is kind of a subject that a lot of people ask me about, like how do I get the glitter to stay in place and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to knock out two things, but make some St. Patrick's Day blanks a little bit early. So I hope everybody's doing good. Let's see here. Mike was asking how my day is. It's going pretty good, actually. I'm running a little late. I got kind of sucked into a rabbit hole. I'm trying to, I'm going to be buying one of the Oneida Dust Gorilla, dust collector setups, and I'm trying to figure all that stuff out. And once you start down the dust collection kind of rabbit hole, little things kind of like catch your eye. And I'm one of the things that I'm trying to also do is get better air filtration. And so I got sucked into this machine thing that might be useful. I'm not sure yet, but anyway, so that kind of held me up this morning, but I'm doing good today. So let's see here. Steve got your blank. Sweet. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to watch the UK shipping. It is so expensive to ship to the UK. And then now with, I think Brexit is causing some of this, the customs stuff involved with that, there's no way I would sell stuff to the UK. Like they want so much documentation, and they're like, if it's even close to wrong, like there was all these warnings, and I was like, oh my God, it's just a gift. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you get your lathe set up and going and turn that sucker. I can't wait to see it. So let's see here, a couple of little announcements. Let's get a kind of a close-up shot real quick here of the glitter. I ended up, so it came in these jars, but I find because I scoop it with a spoon, it's kind of easier just to consolidate it. I got quite a bit. I got like 4 jars of this stuff just to make sure. I wasn't sure how big they were. But there's the Back Fist Lucky Shamrock glitter. It was pretty nice. These are pretty nice little jars they came in and everything. It was really pretty quick shipping. So if you need glitters, I guess they got a website too now, but basically you just check out on Etsy. So I kind of just went to Etsy. So we got our glitter ready to rock here. So I thought what we would do is we're going to go for 10 tubes. We're going to go for some pen blanks. And then the other thing that I wanted to do was let's make some stoppers too. So we'll get one of these guys going here. Stoppers are usually a little bit less, popular. I guess they don't sell as well. So we'll just do 3 of those. We'll do one set of stoppers, and then we'll do some pen blanks. And I have a feeling we're probably going to have glitter left over, but if I need to restock, then I'll have some for a little bit of restocking if these things go quick. I'm not sure how well they will go. Let's see here. So I also have, this Sunday, I got a project. I finally turned the baby dragon, the first one. And pretty cool project. So be looking on my channel for that. That'll be up. Finally got a project turned. I'm pretty happy with the egg shape too. So I'll let you guys, I'll just kind of tease that a little bit, and I'll let you guys watch the video. It's kind of a quick, short video. I didn't really do any talking or anything like that. It's just kind of, quick, kind of sped up turning action. And then a couple other little announcements here. So a big thank you to Ann McDonley for sending in, she went nuts on Amazon with pasta. So we got Ocean Adventure pasta, and we got these, this is upside down. I don't even know how to say that. Tagliatelle rainbow strips. Look at that stuff. Pretty crazy. And then there's more. There's lots more. And we got sunflowers. Look at those guys. Those will be fun. And we got some hippity hop, guys, for Easter. So that'll be coming up soon. And then one last giant bag. Let's see, what is this one? For dog lovers. It's got little paws and stuff in there. I guess it's just paws. Paws, look at that. So big thank you to Ann for sending that in. We'll be having some fun on the stream with all of this pasta. Oh man, I'm gonna have to maybe eat some of this too. We got so much of it. And then I have another thing that was sent in. Let me hold on real quick. I gotta go get the card here. So, and I feel really bad. So Leah, if you're watching, I feel really bad. I didn't see your message on Instagram, but Leah sent in a bunch of scraps. So she's Colorful Art Girl on Instagram, and she does, I think, I'm not entirely sure, like sewing and kind of stuff like that. I'm trying to think of what are these things called? Like quilting, I think, also. And she sent, this is actually like maybe half of what she sent in. It's all scraps of like fabric. Colorful fabric. So we're going to have some fun with that down the road too. So big thank you to Leah. Make sure to give her a follow. Colorful Art Girl over on Instagram. So we got lots of stuff coming up in the future. This was perfect timing too, because I was kind of, I have a few things, but not a whole lot of stuff in the shop right now. So thank you guys for sending that in. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to stop real quick and see who's here. Well, actually, Ann, that's the beauty of the pasta. I love pasta because literally you just take it out of the bag and toss it in resin. And I mean, I have never had pasta not work for me. So I think anybody, that's why I like using it. I think it's like one of the easiest things to just toss in there. There's no really, again, sometimes I'm kind of in a little bubble here in Nevada. So like we have no humidity. So moisture issues, sometimes I'm just really not aware of what you need to watch out for, I guess, or what could cause a problem. And I try to kind of think of, if I was in like Hawaii or Florida, is this going to be a problem? Would you need to dry pasta out? But I'm guessing that if it was that wet, it would start like, it would be like soft, like it'd be kind of obvious. So I don't know. So I think for the most part, I think you can just pretty much toss it in anything and go for it. So let's see here. What else? Who else is here? Twyla's here. I saw that Chris is here. Chris was, she keeps saying on Instagram, oh, I missed it again. So I'm glad that Chris showed up. Good to see you. Irish glitter, yes. I know, there might have been other ones too. I specifically wanted Shamrocks, but that back fist, I'm telling you, go to their Etsy shop. There's just 50,000 different types of glitter, like all little kind of shapes and stuff. So definitely check that out. Yeah, there you go. Doug got the link in. Let's see here. Who else is here? Jim Myers and Steve. Who was here first? I'm going to scroll way up. I think Super Incognito was here first, but then left. Craftsman's Imagination and Dominic. Dominic's usually first. And Kim is usually here too. Pretty early. So cool. Lots of people here. Frank Fowler's here. Nice. And let's see here. I got sucked into the air filtration, I know. I was on the phone with Oneida talking about my system and like really I don't need, it's going to be kind of complex, but it's really not like super long runs. And I was like, I'm not sure if I need a 5-horse or if that's going to just like suck me in the atmosphere into it. But I think it'll be good. So hopefully it'll help out. To be honest, my dust collection system works okay. I don't really think it's terrible because I have really short runs, even though it's underpowered. But a lot of what I'm doing this for is I want to get my piping up. So that part of it has nothing to do with the dust collector, but I just want to hang the metal, easy snap together pipe. And then another thing is I want to have that separation on the machine. The one that I have right now is just a normal dust collector double stack, and it's, like I vacuum the floor and it sucks stuff into the impeller and all kinds of stuff. So I want to have that separation at the machine. And then the other thing is I just want it so that it's easier to empty the bin. So there's a few reasons, but it should really upgrade my dust collection. I'm going to have drops over at the lathe, and it's gonna. There's a lot of other things that are going to help out with this thing. Jim tested the pressure pot and hoped to get to. Oh, nice, sweet. Crabapple bowl bling. Oh man, sweet. Cool. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Kim from Washington, welcome to the stream. Mom has 85. Yeah, it's not a problem with pasta. That's what you guys are so helpful. It's so weird, you know. Like there's a lot of things. I know Alumilite clear and clear slow. I mean, it's urethanes are very they succumb to moisture problems. So just humidity can cause some issues. Generally, from what I understand, and again, I don't really have experience with this, but from what I understand, I don't really think that humidity is going to cause like a failure in your casting. It would have to be extremely high humidity, like 130%, or I don't know if it can go over 100, but way high. What I find though with those is you get little white streaks. So as long as you're putting a bunch of dye in there or micas and coloring it, it doesn't really make any difference, I don't think, with that specifically. Where you run into problems is if you're trying to do like dead clear castings or like the label blanks and stuff. If you get white streaks in your resin, it ruins it, but it'll cure fine, I think. I don't think that there's really any problems with humidity. Moisture problems, if you have a ton of moisture in there, it'll cause, foaming and all kinds of nastiness. Christina's here too, nice. Sweet. Oh, and actually, guys, I wanted to let you know, I've been thinking about the stickers. Brian mentioned stickers. I'm really not happy with the Teespring sticker, the way that works. They're super expensive. I mean, at this point, I dropped the price. I don't make any money on anything on Teespring. And so it's just kind of silly. So I'm going to, even though I don't like, I always am terrible at sending stickers out. So I really liked the Teespring thing, but I'm going to get some more stickers so that if people want to do swaps and all that kind of stuff, I actually have stickers because I don't have any on hand anymore. I was hoping Teespring would fix it, but like from what I understand, you can buy a sticker and it's like $3 or $4 and then they want to charge $8 for shipping or something. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. It'd be like 25 cents. So anyway, why don't I stop talking and let's get going. I need to get a drink real quick. Check. And then let's do our, let's see here. I'm not sure what to do first. Let's just do the stoppers first. Let's get that rolling. So what I'm going to do, a couple of things here. So we're going for dead clear and then we're putting glitter in. That's pretty much it. One thing that I might do with some of the pen blanks is I might add a little bit of the holographic green glitter to like 1 or 2 just to kind of see how that looks. I got some, this is the Glitter Hippo, the what do they call it? Tinsel glitter. We might just add a little bit to a couple of those pen blanks, but for the most part, we're just going for clear resin and then sticking these things in it, right? So one thing that I will recommend is if you're going to be casting in PVC pipes, go like literally give them a good look and make sure there's no junk, like dust or debris, or in my case, I do a lot of, glitter blanks and different stuff. Make sure there's no like dyed little chips of resin on the inside or glitter chunks from other colors. It's really kind of tough for me to keep things separated. Like realistically, what I would like to do, but I just don't really want to spend that much money on PVC, is I would like to have PVC pipes for black resin and PVC pipes for green, sparkle glitter, and don't use them for anything else so I don't have to sit there and clean them all the time. But I mean, it's not that hard, so. And clear PVC costs a lot of money. So just make sure you give them a good look through, wipe it out if you have to, blow it out, and just make sure you don't have junk if you're trying to cast something that's clear in your PVC. So I haven't done that. I probably should have done that. I was trying to get blanks cut before the stream, but I didn't finish. I'm telling you guys, just running out of time today. What happens when you get sucked in a rabbit hole? So I'm off camera right now. I'm just hitting this with a little bit of Stoner mold release. One other thing that I want to mention, since it just the Stoner mold release made me think of it. I just realized that Alumilite has another release, spray release stuff, like for casting, as well as for silicone, called Universal. I think it's called Universal Mold Release. And so I have a can of that on the way, and I'm really curious to see how it works. Supposedly it'll work for resin as well as silicone. So if you're trying to do like a 2-piece mold, you could use that stuff for everything basically. So I'm kind of curious to see how it works. There's no reason for me to switch from Stoner. It works excellent with Alumilite Clear for sure. And it's worked great for all the epoxies that I've used. But I was just kind of curious, you know, if you can get one mold release for silicone and for you know, resin blanks, maybe it'd be worth it. I'm just not sure how it kind of compares. So that's what I wanted to do, was just kind of give it a little bit of a comparison to the Stoner, the pink one. So I'm gonna hook my air hose up. Another thing is, you want to make sure that you don't have a bunch of debris on your stoppers. I usually just blow it off. If you got stuff that won't come off, you can use a little bit of denatured alcohol on silicone parts. You don't really want to use acetone. It can kind of, I don't know, suck out some of the whatever's in it and dry it out kind of thing. So we got our mold here. I'm popping this in. You can get these little plugs at Turner's Warehouse. Highly recommend them. They make things so easy. And they even have a little doohickey in the center. Not that it matters, that I don't find it hugely useful, but you will have a center hole on your blank if you're casting PVC. So they have it in, I think it goes from like 1/2 inch all the way up to 4 inch for PVC pipes. So head over to Turner's Warehouse if you want to use my affiliate link down in the show notes, and then I'll get a little bit of a bonus, little kickback from Chad for you guys using that link. It doesn't cost you anything, but I get a little bit of a referral bonus from them. So anyway, they got that stuff. They even have PVC pipes if you just want to grab them while you're buying. Will I ever do a video on kitless pens? Probably not. I don't make them. I've made like a couple. So I really don't know what I'm doing. And like tutorial videos like that are, even if you know the subject, they can be difficult to make a good one. It takes a lot of time. And if you really don't know what you're doing, then it's going to extend it. So I don't really think that I'm not really the best person to make one. Jim Hines is a guy that I know, for anybody that's kind of in the pen turning world. He is very good at them. He teaches classes live. He put up a video, but it's absolutely horrible. Him and Brian from Caster's Choice, Brian Blum, they kind of shot a video and they have it on YouTube. It's pretty good information, but man, it's a terrible video. It's just kind of like in a garage, terrible lighting. There's a few videos on YouTube. I don't know. I think Bob over at RJB Woodturner also has some on kitless. I want to make some more. It's just I don't really have the experience to like, I'd have to make like 100 or 200 of them before I really felt comfortable saying, oh, this is how you make these things, you know. So probably not for a while. Let's see here. All right, just making sure I didn't miss anything. All right, so we have our pipe stonered. We have it ready in the little, this thing just kind of holds the pipe up so it doesn't fall over when I put it in the pressure pot. Let's switch to the casting, the casting view. I'm gonna get all the pen ones out of our way for now. Out of my way. Okay. Get these little jars out of the way too. We don't need them. And for anybody that, if you didn't see the last stream, we tried turning some of those crystals that Philip sent in, and man, I ruined my cutter. It just flat out ruined the carbide cutter. You may not be able to really see. Let's see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see that, but let me get on under the camera. Like it flattened it, like it literally ruined the cutter. Like it was ineffective completely. So we found out that those stones are harder than steel on the Mohs hardness scale. So not a good idea to try turning those things. They're just not going to work. If you're going to cast those, like what are they called? Like crystals. It was like, moonstone and quartz and all that stuff. I would recommend, embed it completely to where you're not going to be cutting into it. Otherwise, you're just not really going to get through it. The one thing that we didn't try was an angle grinder, which I thought of it later, and then I actually kind of thought a little bit more about it, and I don't even think I would have tried it anyway, because like a pen blank on your lathe, like I probably would have just jacked up my lathe somehow. Maybe it would be a little bit easier on like a bigger piece, but I think that you're better off just not doing that stuff. It's just not worth it. Not worth the time. All right, so we got our little thing here, our notebook. Let's put in, let's see, the date is the 3rd. We're doing Shamrocks glitter. Just to make sure we know. So number 1, we're doing some stoppers. All right, so let's see here. Need to look up. It's been a while since I've used this pipe. Probably write the amount on the pipe. That would be the smart way to go. I think it might hold like 300 grams. I'm trying to think if there's something that I've actually used that for. It's a nice thing about having a book, but at the same time, it's kind of hard if you're not sure what to look for. All right, so I'm going to just do a little bit of quick math here. So 75 times 0.75 times 3.14 times 0.554 times, how tall is this? A little bit over 6.5. Oh, it says on there 6.25. Okay, so a couple hundred, about 200 grams is what I'm going to mix up for this. That might be a little bit over, that's fine. All right, so we're going to be using Alumilite Clear flow set. Let's see here. So we're just going for dead clear, and then we're just going to add a little bit of Shamrocks to it. With things like stoppers, I think for pen blanks, you're better off adding a little bit more if you're going to go for tubed pens. You would want to add a little bit more glitter, but for these, even for the pen blanks, I really find that, you know, because you could load these things up like pack it in there. That's what I do with this glitter. And that works great for pen blanks, but they work well for tubed pens. Whereas these things are a little bit harder. There's so much clear in there that you have to pretty much paint the inside of the blank. And I don't really think that they are the best type of blank for kitted, you know, where you got a tube in there for that type of pen blank. I think they're much better for handles, as well as diamond painting pens, things where you're not drilling out the center. And so I don't really like to pack them. It's the same way with my autism blanks. And I've made a couple like the Mickey, you know, like Mickey Mouse looking things. And I like to load them up, but by the time you're done turning it down, you know, with the tube, there's way less glitter in there. Another thing with glitter this size, I know it's not really that big, but at the same time, you're going to have some bonding issues a little bit because it's a really shiny, smooth surface. And so if you packed this completely full in your blank, you're going to get cracking. It's going to cause more problems than it's worth. So I think that for these types of blanks, you're much better off going for maybe kitless type blank pens. But I think you're better off just keeping it intact for like a handle. It works great for like a bottle opener handle, for diamond painting pens. These things really rock for. So just a couple little notes about that. So anyway, my point is, for the stoppers, we're not going to load it up with a ton of that stuff in there because it's nice to kind of be able to see through there. So I'll just kind of eye it and see how we're doing, add a little bit at a time. Let's see here. So we're using Slow Set Clear. Uh-oh, we got a super chat from Tom. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. Sweet. Let's see here. We're using this is a 1.5 inch PVC pipe. All right, so I think we're ready. Let me get some gloves on and we will rock it. Bottom cam isn't working. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Glad I noticed that. Let me see if I can figure this out here. Hopefully that was the right one. Was that the right one? Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can, I'm not sure which one I just unplugged. Restart it. Activate. There we go. We're back. Thanks for letting me know. That could have been terrible. Okay. All right. So 200 grams. Let me get a cup out here. I'm going to zero it out on the scale. And whoa, going for 200. So it's 100 grams of part A. So again, Alumilite Clear Slow is a urethane resin. It's a 1-to-1. You got about 12 minutes of working time, and the demold time is about 2 to 4 hours, depending on the amount. I find that for most of these types of things, for something like this, I could probably pull it in 2 or 3 hours, no problem. Again, based on room temperatures, it's about 68 in my shop. If it was cooler, you definitely would need to leave it in longer. If it's smaller amounts, you would need to leave it in longer. For larger things, you can easily pull them. Like when I do like a 6 pen blank mold like this, that, I mean, 2 hours, it's fine. You're ready to go. Oh, I went over just a little bit. Come on. There we go. All right, so we got 100 grams in our part B. Sneaking up on it. Got to sneak. One more. There we go, perfect. Okay, so you guys can see what's happening here. I'm going to get this thing out of the way now. That out of the way. We're not going to use that for these. Put that right there. All right. So we're mixing the cup. I like to mix. I keep the stick on the bottom of the cup. That way I'm scraping the bottom. Getting in the corners as good as possible. And then I like to scrape the sides every now and then. You just want to make sure that all of the part A and the part B are mixed up. If you don't get them mixed up, you'll have little parts of little wispy stuff in there. Won't be clear in the cup, and when it cures, if there's little clumps of just part A or part B, you're going to have just a wet spot in there. It's not going to be pretty. So mixing and measuring are usually the two biggest problems with resin casting. Dave Sloan, thanks for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to pull out a half teaspoon, and we're going to put a half teaspoon in, and I'm just going to kind of see what does that look like. And with these things, I mean, it's just kind of about a half teaspoon. It's not like it needs to be perfect. All these things off. Close it so that they don't go flying everywhere. We want to be able to kind of see them. I think more. So I don't know if you guys can kind of see. That's not a very good view. Let me switch to this view, wider, kind of get that in there. So that's what we're looking at with a half teaspoon. That's not bad. I mean, in a stopper blank, I don't mind that really. But I think we'll go for a full teaspoon. Let's add one more teaspoon, and I'm just going to leave it on that camera so that I can show you guys what the difference is. Again, we're going for stoppers here, so you're going to have kind of what you see in the cup is a little bit more reflective of what you're going to actually have in the tube and in the final piece, because the whole thing's staying intact, pretty thick. You just don't need as much of this glitter to make a decent looking impact. With pen blanks, if you're going to go for tubed, you're going to drill it out, and then you're going to turn it down to such a tiny, thin amount that what's in the cup is not going to be what they look like. And it's not even going to look, once it's in the tube, that's not going to be reflective of what it's going to look like in the end either. Unless you're going to keep it like a handle or something like that. Then you can, be kind of assured that whatever it kind of looks like in the tube is what you're going to get. So let's go with this one. I like that a lot better. I know you probably can't see extremely well. But that's, there's clear space, so you're going to have, the light going through, but it's pretty well packed in there. I like that look. That looks pretty good to me. Brian, thanks, buddy. I love those little pear guys. They're fun. I appreciate it. Let me switch back to this. That's not the right one. This one. All right, so now at this point, the big key to keeping your glitters or anything like that suspended in place is you gotta wait and wait and wait. We're gonna be waiting. What I've found for the most part is about 107 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna kind of mix up my cup, get things kind of evenly distributed with the temperature. So right now we're at 81.5 degrees. So we gotta wait until about 107, and frankly, I'm probably gonna wait till about 110 on this one. Because it's a little bit larger and there's just more space for it to kind of move. So it's just a waiting game, and that's really the key to getting this to work. Now, one other thing, when we go to the pen blanks, one thing that I've found also, and this kind of applies to a lot of different things, I'm going to pour, if I wanted a 5-inch pen blank out of this, I'm still pouring it to the top, basically. And I want to have a lot of extra, because while these things are sitting vertically, if the glitter is going to, move, if it's going to sink, you got a long way on a tube. And so that's why if you're doing glitter, I would definitely recommend casting it vertically, because you have a lot more, length for it to actually go somewhere. If you were going to just try and cast these things horizontally in one of these types of molds and then cut out pen blanks, or even in like the single, where are they at here? Something like this. The problem is there's only, an inch. It's only an inch high. And so, if they move 1/8 of an inch, that's significant. And you're going to have a pretty big, clear area. There's almost no way to keep these things from sinking, completely. But if you got a really tall thing that's where it's in, then what you do is you just cut off. The very top is where you're going to have kind of sparse area. They're going to kind of compact down in here. So, give it another inch or two over what you want to, create your blank out of. That's kind of a good tip. So can you guys see? I'm going to switch to this view. So it's already, you can see it sinks, right? Like I haven't been touching it. It's like way at the bottom. So I like to kind of keep stirring it up. All right. Stir it up, and it's still, we got such a long time that, it's going to keep kind of sinking, but I just try and keep the stuff kind of stirred up a little bit, keep an eye on the temperature, and then again, the vertical pour is really kind of the key, I think, with this stuff. All right, so again, it's a waiting game. Now, the temperature that I mentioned, so 107, that really, I don't even know if it actually is, if it holds true with Alumilite Clear regular set. Like they're, I don't know if they don't say regular, but just regular Alumilite Clear. Like the 5 to 7 minute open time. These temperatures, all I know for sure is this works with Alumilite Clear Slow. And, at the temperature that I'm talking, so it's 68 degrees in my shop, 107 to 110 should be pretty good. We should get good results with these. And to be honest, I don't even have a whole lot of experience doing something like a stopper size. Most of this definitely works for pen blanks, because these are pretty much exactly the same thing as the autism puzzle piece glitter blanks that I make. So I got plenty of experience making those pen blanks. But it will be fine with this. I'm not worried about it or anything, but you follow the temperature guide and then the vertical thing and all that good stuff, then you should be good. And try and pour a little extra. So in this case, what I'd like to get is 3 stoppers out of this, but I would most likely pour even more, make it a little bit taller than this. We'll have to see what I get. We may only get 2 stoppers. I may end up making them kind of longer stopper blanks and just get 2 out of them. You got a cool egg idea. Nice. Granddaughter dropped a big container of fine glitter. Oh no. Yeah, glitter. Yeah, these things get everywhere. And they're like static. And actually, I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail. I dumped some out just to kind of, whatever. I had to just get rid of it because I couldn't get it back into the bag or anything. I was just like, I'm done, whatever. Just grabbed some tape and picked it up. Oh no, yeah, Doug dumped a whole bunch of my, like the whole jar of my Starlight glitter. All right, so let's see what temperature is. I can feel it's warming up in the cup a little bit, but we're not at 110 yet. Like I said, I think I'll just wait till 110 on these. For the pen blanks, 107. I know that will work fine. We'll do a little bit higher. Part of the reason is we got a bigger opening. And so, when you're waiting for this stuff to get warmer, the other thing that it's doing, and I think probably more the reason for this works, the temperature thing, is what it's doing is it's thickening up, right? And so it's a little bit harder if it's super thick to get it into a 3/4 inch PVC pipe, especially when you got 10 of them. Right? We got 1 pipe. Like, frankly, I could probably just wait till 115 on this and I'd be fine. It'll still work. I'm kind of curious to see how 110, how that works. So we're just going to go with that. If I need to adjust, I will. I'm not that worried. I know that I'll definitely get 1 out, even if it sinks quite a bit, but out of this. But if need be, if I need to adjust it, I'll let you guys know if something happens. You'll know when I show you the pictures of this demolding it. If you kind of need to wait a little bit longer for this first one. In fact, you know what? I think the more I think about this, the more we're gonna wait till 115 on this. Actually, again, part of the reason that I chose the numbers that I did for these pen blanks is because I do a lot of them. You're having to pour so many. There's only one of these things, so let's just go with 115 on this, and that'll help ensure that they don't sink, that much. They're still gonna sink a little bit, and so you're just gonna have to cut that part off. So we're at 100 degrees right now, 100 exactly. So I apologize for going back and forth and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes you have to kind of just think about what you're doing a little bit. 1 is totally different than 10. And so these numbers, well, actually one thing that I also wanted to mention is, so part of the reason for this, when you're doing color swirl blanks to keep the colors separated, or if you're trying to suspend stuff, the other thing about waiting till the end of the working time is, so I'm going to pour this at like 115. And at that point, I mean, it's extremely close to the point where it's just going to flat out solidify. It doesn't have a lot of time sitting in that mold before it's going to be fully hard. And so that's another thing is you're also, that's kind of an obvious side effect, but some people don't necessarily think about that, is it kind of locks it in, you put it in the pressure pot, and I mean, within a minute or two, it's just going to be hard. It's going to solidify and just lock that stuff in place. Not just about it being thick for a bit. Now, when different resins are going to work a little bit differently also. So your epoxies, you're probably going to have a longer gel period. That's what I call this, where it's like thick. It's kind of a gel period. So some resins, depending, may have a kind of an extended gel period where you got a lot more time for this stuff to move around. That's one of the reasons I like Alumilite Clear Slow, is the gel period isn't really that long. You know, I mean, it's gonna harden not too long after I put this in the pressure pot. Right, so you can see this stuff is thick, right? I mean, this is like honey at this point. I think we were at 108, maybe at 110 now. Yeah, 110. So we're gonna wait 5 more degrees. Now what can happen is you gotta watch out. You don't wanna wait too long because it can just harden in the cup, right? Right. So sometimes you gotta play around with these types of things. You know, and in your shop, things may be a little bit different depending on the temperature and all that kind of stuff. But definitely what resin you're using is gonna have an effect on this stuff. Getting really thick, so we're at 112.5. We're almost there, guys. We are almost ready. Definitely thick. Man, look at that. It's like molasses now. 114. Oh man, that 1 degree. We gotta wait 1 more degree. I think we're there. Close enough. All right, here we go. You can see it's still liquid, you know, even though I waited that long. Oh man, I could have poured some more in there. That's okay. Get all these little glitter guys out as much as I can. All right, so there we have it. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that, but that's a pretty nice distribution, good amount, I think, in there. I think we really nailed it. So again, that was one teaspoon about of glitter that I took out of that bag. 2 scoops of the ½ teaspoon. So 1 teaspoon total. And then into the pressure pot, and then we'll go up to 70 psi. Again, my pressure pots are CA Technologies. They have a max of 80 psi. So I usually just stay 10 below whatever the max is. That's one of the reasons I like CA Technologies. There's a lot of good pots out there, but if your max is only 60, then I would, just my own personal kind of rules, the way that I do things, and I don't suggest you do this, it's just how I do it. I'm going to stay 10 below, and then that means I'm at 50. And if you have a leak in your pot, and let's say you're using a slow setting epoxy, you know, that takes 9-12 hours overnight to fully harden up, if you have a leak in the pot, 10 psi isn't that far. That's kind of why I like higher pressure, but as long as you can, typically you can shore up the pot and you know, any leaks, and it's not a problem. But I want to mention that the higher the PSI, like you're not going to ever get to a PSI level that's going to make any kind of difference. I don't think that there's any difference between 70, 80, 100, and 50, or even like 45. All these pressures are kind of the same. My biggest thing is, just in case there's some sort of a weird leak, I have a little bit bigger window, or you know, like a cushion. That's the main reason. So let's see here. I'm just going to see what someone was talking about. Shirts. Bacon. Oh no. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh yeah. I have shirts in the Teespring. I lowered the prices a little bit too, so hopefully they're a little bit more reasonable for people. All right. So we got some stopper blanks, or that could just be a long handle as well. I mean, you could go either way with that. Let's do some pen blanks now. And again, this is where I have a little bit more experience. I don't really make those stopper size things. Not that I'm not worried. I think that everything that I did is exactly what I would recommend, no matter how many times I did them. This is how, for anybody that wants to, you know, was ever curious about like the puzzle piece blanks, the autism ones or something like that, this is exactly how I do those. And obviously I get good results with this method, doing it that way. So again, first thing that we need to do is I'm just going to look in here and just make sure there's no junk. One thing I need to make sometime is I'm using these, And they work fine, but I'd really like to get like a 10. You know, I have a couple other ones, but I really want to make some more of these little rack things for my PVC pipes because these are kind of janky. Maybe you have a handle on it even. That'd be great. Very easy to make, but out of all the things that I want to spend time on, that's not one of them. I'm just checking to make sure there's no debris or glitter or something weird in here, that because we're making pretty much clear blanks, you know, there's a very significant amount of clear in them. So if you have little, you know, dust particles or glitter or something weird that you don't want in there, then it'll probably be pretty evident, you know, as long as it gets into the middle of the blank. You don't really want that. If you don't want it, then you don't want it. So make sure there's none of that junk in there. Takes a little bit of time. See, now there's a little bit of particle in this one. There's a good example. See right there, there's a particle. I don't like particles. Got that guy out of there. All right, we're clear. That one's clear. Okay. So next step, I'm going to go over kind of behind the camera. I just like spraying that mold release stuff in an area that I don't really care if it gets on stuff over there. A lot of times I have things that I'm going to be casting behind me, on the camera behind me, and I don't really want that, the overspray getting on that stuff. I may be a little bit paranoid, but you know, it's just one of those little steps that you can take that doesn't require it's not painful, it's not difficult, it doesn't cost you any money, that will help to ensure that you don't have a problem with something, you know. Because if overspray got on a piece of burl and then I tried casting it, I could get some significant adhesion issues, you know, if there was still some stoner left on there. So I try, and frankly, if I had a door back here to the outside, I would do this outside. I'm just a little too lazy to walk all the way to the front of the shop. And I definitely don't want to waste you guys' time on the stream doing that. So try to keep anything you don't want on your blanks, or, you know, that you don't want on your materials that you're going to be casting. Keep it off of there the best that you can. My OCD is going off the rails. I'm telling you. Well, you know, the thing is with that, part of that OCD comes with, I sell these blanks. Like, this isn't like I'm just making a pen. I think if I was just making a random Shamrock pen for myself or handle or something, like, I may not really care that much, you know. But if you're really going for, you know, if you're going for perfect, kind of, you don't want stuff like that in there, or you're selling it. Like, what, you know, I would feel terrible if somebody got a pen blank and there was like this chunk in there. And there's two things. Like, I would feel bad that they bought it and I would replace it. But there's a couple things there. Then I wasted my time making that pen blank, and then it's going to cost me more money to replace the thing. So I'd rather take as many steps as I can up front so that I don't have to, you know, waste time and money for me or other people. Kind of, that's the, I don't know, that's my thing. I am a little bit OCD though. Anyway. All right, so I'm blowing off these guys, making sure there's no junk. We don't want any junk. Okay, got that done. I'm going to switch to the casting view for you guys. That's the wrong one. I keep doing that. So I kind of like it in the, I don't know. Whatever, we're going to put it there. Okay, so again, I'm using the Turner's Warehouse little PVC plugs, silicone plugs. They work pretty darn good. Come on, get in there. That guy was a little bit overweight. That plug has been eating too many cookies, obviously. Whoa, whoa, hey. Wily guy. Okay. And this is actually a case where these specific PVC pipes, I was kind of saying that I'd like to have, you know, specific set for specific things. These actually are specific for the autism, you know, for things where I'm going to be, you know, just putting like thick glitter chunks or something like that in, and it's just going to be clear. I don't want to be putting a bunch of, you know, like this glitter in there and having to clean them out every time. So these ones stay pretty clean anyway. If there are any little resin chunks, it's just clear. Not noticeable, but that usually doesn't even happen anyway. But you do get, you know, for dyed blanks and different certain things, you can get lots of little specks of stuff that if you didn't clean it, it would definitely cause an issue. Get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we got our 10. We got 10 tubes here. That guy back. I'm just going to put that over there. Let's see here. Let's get our book out. Notebook. So number 2, we're doing pen blanks. And I call these pen blanks, even though I kind of say, like, you know, these are much better for handles or diamond painting pens, I would say. It's not that you can't use them for kitted pens. It's just a lot of people don't really think about, you know, it's going to be very sparse by the time you've drilled out and turned down a typical pen blank. So I just want to kind of warn you guys about that a little bit. Pen blanks. They're pen blank size. We're going with 10 tubes. And again, we're going to use slow set clear. If you wanted to get something with, you know, the one issue, I would say the one drawback, there's maybe a couple of them, but the one drawback to Alumilite Clear Slow is you have no UV inhibitors in it. So just be warned about that. If you wanted something with UV inhibition in it, you know, you'd want to go with maybe the ACC Plus or, you know, some of the other ones that have UV inhibitors in there. That's not going to guarantee that it's never going to yellow ever, but you know, I think that it's going to take quite a bit of UV exposure to make it yellow, especially in the case of the ACC Plus resin. All right, so we got 10 tubes. Let's see here. I gotta look up another notebook thing real quick. I need to see what I usually, about 6. Hold on a minute. All right, so it looks like I go for about 55 grams of resin per tube. All right, so 55 times 10 is 550. I think. Yep. And then divided by 2, we're going to go with 275 times 2. Okay, let's see here. Oh, you push it to the top. Yeah. It's not a bad way to go, but I kind of find that I have sometimes, depending on what it is, I have stuff on the top and the bottom anyway, so yeah. And I generally, the other thing about that is for me, I generally am cutting a lot off the tops of these types of things, so you know, either way, it's not a bad idea, but I don't think I would switch to that personally. Okay, so let's see here. Now, the amount of shamrocks that we're going to put in, these are about the same exact size and everything as the puzzle pieces. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for about we're going to go for kind of 4 heavy teaspoons of these things. All right. Like I'm gonna get a kind of overflowing pile on this it's a 1 teaspoon spoon. All right. And that should do, that'll give us a pretty decent look. So I think I might actually have, to kind of give you guys an idea, if you haven't seen the autism blanks, I don't have any of those here in the shop, but I do have another blank that I make specifically for one person. Is they're little Mickeys. So that'll kind of, you know, it's not fully packed, like overflowingly packed with glitter, but it's definitely all the way throughout. And so for something like a diamond painting pen or like a handle, I think this looks the best because you can really see the glitter, like each little piece. If you overload it with shaped glitter, I think you're going to have a lot tougher time actually picking out like what is that stuff, because it's just going to be a big blob of things. And you also have to think you're going to be cutting into it, right? So that's kind of my philosophy on this. I'm not saying it's right. That's just kind of how I choose the amount for this type of stuff. Now that again is totally different. If I'm doing these tinsel glitter blanks, I load these things up a ton. Like they are just jam-packed because again, these are meant to be tubed pens. And so you want to have that stuff like, you know, fully packed into the blank. These I kind of make, you know, with I think that you're going to get the best use out of it making a handle, something that's going to stay intact. All right, so just some little philosophies and different things that hopefully will help you guys out. Now, one thing that I also want to mention before we even get started, so I don't forget, one thing that I found with these is originally I would kind of tilt. I was thinking, okay, you know, you're pouring resin in, it's got stuff in there. And I was thinking, you know, it would maybe make sense to pour it into the tube with them kind of sideways. And that might help with air bubbles or something like that. I mean, we're going to pressurize it, so it's not that big of a deal. But I would just do that. Originally, I would have all my tubes kind of leaning a little bit, just a little bit. And what I actually found is that screws up things when you're pouring this amount of glitter with these types of glitters in. It works actually a lot better if they're standing straight up and down and you just pour it straight to the bottom. It evenly fills the tube. What I was finding was if they were on their side, the glitter would kind of be on one side of the blank. So just a little weird tip that I just randomly happened to find out. You know, sometimes you notice things like that are kind of important. All right, so we got our cup here, zeroing it out. It's a brand new cup. Again, if you're going to be doing stuff with clear, you got to really make sure that there's no little chunks of stuff on the inside of your cup. I usually just grab a new one. Unless it's dead, you know, I can tell that there's absolutely no little bits of stuff. All right, so our cup, what the heck? Did I not zero it? Scale broken? Come on, guys. I just want to double check, make sure this thing's not. Okay. I'm happy with that now. So we need 275 part A. Yeah, and so that tip with the you know, sideways pipe thing and straight up and down, I mean, that really works. It's for this type of glitter specifically. It may work for other types of things like this, I guess, but you know, in like the puzzle piece glitters, that's where I found it, obviously. But it's going to be the same for this clover stuff, and there's lots of little shaped glitters like that I think, you know, it's specific for that. It's not necessarily gonna. You don't necessarily have to do that for everything. It just, for these things, definitely I would recommend it. Went over just a tad. This thing evened out. Okay. We'll go with some part B. All right, we're sneaking up on this guy here. $274. All right, there we go. All right, so we got it in there. Let's stir it up. Now again, for these pen blank size ones, we're gonna be pouring these at 107, 107 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a good temperature, and it's again 68 degrees in the shop. That can affect the timing. Another thing that might affect it, I'm just not sure because our humidity doesn't really fluctuate enough. Ambient humidity could affect things like that. But for me, I just make sure that I know what the temperature is, because like in the summer, if it's 85 degrees, you're going to have less time. Things are going to start setting up if the resin is already warmer, like 10 or 15 degrees warmer. That's going to have an effect on how long you need to wait. It could, anyway. I find that it does. Another thing that changes that is if your resin's sitting in 85-degree temperatures, it's going to start out thinner. All right, so that's another issue that you have to kind of think about. I know for my color swirl blanks, I kind of, in many cases, would prefer thicker resin. So I actually keep my Alumilite white in that little fridge behind me at about 55 degrees. I don't really find it's that big of a deal for Alumilite clear, but definitely for that white, because it already is like water thin. So I'd rather thicken it up a little bit to start off with. It just tends to work out better in the end. All right, so we're going to do 4 heaping teaspoons. Literally a cooking show at this point. Oh. It's heaping enough, I guess. The problem is this bag is just kind of being super awesome. Be careful so I don't get them all over the place. If you don't get them in the cup, they're pretty hard to get back in the bag. 3. There we go, 4. That ought to be pretty good, I think. Now, if you want to go for super densely packed, you're going to have to put a ton more in than that, for this amount of resin. I think that's another thing also is, glitter's not, it's not expensive, but eventually it's going to start getting kind of expensive. For you to really pack this stuff in, I'd probably have to dump the whole thing in to make it super dense. And again, I think you're going to have problems with cracks and stuff when you're turning it, because this stuff is shiny, smooth surfaced, and if there's a ton of it in there, I think that you're probably going to run into issues with your blanks, turning them, that bond between the resin. So I like to kind of keep things a little bit more spaced out when I'm dealing with this size glitter. So let me switch to this work area view, just to kind of give you it's pretty densely packed in there, but there's definitely clear spots. I don't know if you guys can really pick that out and see that. in this cup. It looks super dense in this cup, but you have you got 4 inches or so, 3.5, 3 inches of shamrocks, right? But in a pen blank, you only have 3/4 sideways. And then by the time you've turned it down and done all that stuff, I mean, you're literally looking through like an 1/8 inch at the most. So you have to kind of think about that. If you're trying to pack something in for a pen blank with like a tubed kit pen blank, you got to put a ton of it. And that's the same goes for if you're adding mica powders. That's the same reason. You've turned it down so thin that there's just not that much mica powder in there. So you have to compensate for that. So this is kind of the happy medium for me, where, you know, it's pretty dense, but and it works well for 3/4 inch thick. It works the best to keep it that thick. For pen blanks that are tubed, there's gonna be less shamrocks. Just kind of keep that in mind with this amount. Dinner is ready. Have a good one, Jen. Thanks for coming out. Keeping the kids under control. All right, so again, weighting game. 107 is the number that I'm looking for. And again, I resist the urge to pick these little things up off my placemats and then stick them in my cup, because I'm probably going to be picking up other little glitters and junk from this place. It's not a placemat, but from the silicone mat. So I always have to kind of walk away, just walk away. All right, so let's see what temperature we're at. Probably like 85, 90 at this point. 87. And I'm gonna wait to open this, but I want to make one pen blank with this green glitter stuff in there. We'll just add just a little bit. It'll kind of fill in around the edges. Or we could go for a lot. I don't know. But I'm gonna kind of wait until I'm about to pour the last one, I guess. Not really the best way to go. The more I think about that, it's kind of hard. We're trying to keep things like, you know, I think what I might do. Yeah, I'm just gonna add a little bit of glitter at the end. The thing is, we're waiting for it to be pretty thick, and so it's not like I have a lot of time to be messing with glitter and stuff for like the last one, but at the same time, I don't really want to dump any out, separate it, because it's going to affect how fast it reaches that 107 temperature that I want. So you're better off just sticking with one thing. All right, so I need a drink real quick. You know, one thing that just also crossed my mind, you know, it would probably look really killer with these things is that easy inlay gold flake stuff. I don't want to mess with it because I really want to see what these look like. But I might actually toss some of that stuff in sometime down the road. This stuff, you can get it at Easy Inlay. They got a huge jar of it too. This would last like a lifetime for turning blanks. I think that would be pretty sweet. All right, so I'm going to switch to this view while we're kind of waiting here. It's starting to warm up a little bit. We must be in the 90s at this point. Feel it in the cup. 93.5. Looking for 107. You guys are talking about fun drinks and all kinds of good stuff. Battleships and tastes like apple pie. All right, let's see where we're at here. Waiting is the hardest part. And that's another reason why I like Alumilite Clear Slow, because I really just don't have the patience to be messing around waiting 45 minutes with epoxies. Just no thanks. No thanks. 12 minutes is like kind of that happy, perfect, within my ADD zone. Because for 45 minutes, I would walk away and go do something else, you know, and I'm always worried that if I did that, and it has actually happened to me, I walk away and then I totally forget. Get busy doing something else, and you're hosed. Yeah, these are kind of sparkly. Huh? Pretty cool. I think these things are going to look pretty good. I'm excited. And don't forget, if you are a patron, this Friday is the first Friday. And we're just going to be, I decided to we're just going to do some hybrid blanks. We're going to use up some dye stabilized little, like the kind of the worthless wood, the little tiny cutoffs and stuff that maybe aren't, you know, like the prime thing. It's like the afterthoughts. I always kind of keep those around because they can, especially if you're a pen maker, man, the smallest piece of wood can seriously be used. You know, it was bad enough when I was a woodworker and, you know, you'd have cutoffs, but I mean, the cutoffs, you wouldn't have little pen blank size cutoffs. You would throw those away. But at this point, I mean, literally tiny little chunks, especially when you're talking like dyed burl, everything's for fair game and you can do lots of cool stuff with them. So that will, make sure to head over to the patreon.com to get the link for you guys that are patrons. All right, so where are we at here? Are we at 107? We are at 107. Look at that. I just happened to pull the trigger there. All right, so you guys can see. And again, I'm just pouring it straight down the tube. I find you get the best kind of dispersion, I guess. Or, you know, it's evenly dispersed, the little shamrock things, the glitter pieces. Doesn't matter what kind they are. Shaped glitter like this stuff. Yeah, I really had to resist the urge. That place that I got these shamrocks, they have so many. I mean, I could have sat there for hours just looking at different glitters. So I'm definitely going to head back there and pick up some different ones. See what else they got. They had a ton. Back Fist, I think was the name of it. On Etsy. They have a website too. It's basically just connected to their Etsy shop though. Same stuff. One thing that actually pops out in my mind that I noticed that they had, I was really trying not, I just wanted to make sure that these, you know, I found shamrocks, but I just wanted to make sure that I was picking the coolest, you know, shamrock things. One thing that I noticed is I think they have, you know, for all the different, the cancer ribbon colors, I think they have like every single ribbon for all the different ones for the support. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know, I didn't really pay that much attention to it, so I don't know how they would look, you know, in the end for blanks and all that kind of stuff. But if you're looking for something, if you want to, you know, you're looking for an idea, I think that they pretty much had a glitter for every one of those color ribbons, at least most of them. And actually, that makes me think of one other little thing that I want to mention. Let me get this in the pressure pot, and I'll give you another little. Sometimes I like to just kind of like do this a little bit. Maybe it'll, you know, maybe it'll freeze some air bubbles. The pressure pot should take care of everything, but you guys know me. I'm a little bit crazy. All right, so we'll drop these guys in here. Now for these pen blanks, let's see here. So let me get this thing ready to rock. I would probably leave these in for 4 hours. Again, 68 degrees in the shop, kind of on the lower, cooler end of things. Just to make sure. And generally, they'll kind of they'll come out of the tubes a little easier. Like I think if I pulled them in about 2 hours, they might not. They might kind of be a little bit still kind of sticky in a sense. They'd be cured, but like hard, but they may not come out of the pipes as easily. So I tend to like leave them in. A lot of times I'll put them in at the end of the day. Especially those autism ones, and just leave them in overnight, pull them the next day, and they pop out no problem. Real quick, let me wipe off I like to wipe off my stir sticks so that so they're ready to go at a moment's notice. So one of the things that I've been talking about these specific blanks I don't consider them to be the most amazing option for a tubed pen blank, right? What I would recommend if you want to go for like a tubed pen blank, the way to go is go tube in. That's how I would do this type of glitter for a tubed pen blank. That way you can just, put in a black tube or silver or, whatever, white. Let me just grab one. And Turner's Warehouse has all the powder coated ones. There's also nickel. I think Turner's Warehouse has those too. So, you could just go with one of these or just paint it, however you want to do it. But go for like a colored tube and then just pour your mixture in. And that way you're saving some of the glitter. You can really load it up, but you're not really pouring that much resin. And so that is the way that I would probably recommend doing pen blanks that are for tubed pens. Go tube in. I know Julie has she made some of the puzzle piece ones, and it just everything works out great. Sometimes you have a problem when you're painting the inside of the blank like that. I find that's a lot harder to get kind of perfect with that paint. For if you have a ton of clear, if most of the blank is just going to be clear and you got a few puzzle pieces like that, painting the inside of the tube, you're probably going to have to do 2 coats because paints just don't really want to stick to plastics in the first place. And it just makes things a little bit more difficult. If you can just pop it in and you got the tube is already painted or powder coated or whatever, and then you just dump in a ton of those little puzzle pieces, you could even, glue them onto the tube. So a couple other ideas. If you're going for a tubed pen blank, I would probably switch it up and do a little bit different type of thing. I don't really do a lot of tube in stuff. I prefer to just kind of dump things in usually, but that's what I would recommend. All right, so let's see here. Glitter makes it. Nice. There's lots of glitter places. With these types of pen blanks, what color is good to paint the tubes? Probably, well, for these, I would probably go with white. So if you think about it, white is really going to give you it's going to give you like a vibrant background. Like that light is going to really they're going to be brighter, I would say. Black is usually a good color as well, but that's going to also darken things. I mean, it's going to be like basically when you're painting the inside of a clear blank, if I just poured a clear, just nothing's in there basically. It's just clear PVC, clear resin in a PVC pipe. I drilled it out and then painted the inside. What's going to end up happening is that, let's say I painted it black, it's going to pretty much look like I dyed the resin black. I mean, it's going to take on like all those clear spots are going to look like black resin kind of. So just think about that. Black's going to darken it up quite a bit. If you're just trying to hide the tube, that's a good way to do it. Or if dark backgrounds are better. So in the case of color shift powder, I would go with black every single time if there's color shift powder in there. But for something like this, I would probably go with white because it's going to make it a lot brighter. A lot of people have done that. I've seen that most of the people that make because there are people that are making tubed pens with my blanks, with the autism blanks, the puzzle piece glitter. And white is by far, it looks the best, and it's what most people go with, and it gives you a nice white, clear, clean background, so you can actually see those little, parts in there. So that's probably what I would do. For the most part, any bright color should work fine though. Like a light kind of bright green might look well. Actually, I take that back. I think white for these ones specifically would be the best. So, I don't know. Let's see here. I think that's about it. So, Lucy, it's your first time in the live chat. Well, did you just show up? Sorry, we're kind of done. We ended up doing a stopper blank. So bottle stoppers, a 1.5-inch PVC pipe with these guys, and then we just got done doing those pen blanks. And so those will be ready. I'll post pictures. Tomorrow's my day off, so I don't come to the shop. But I'll probably post pictures either Friday or Saturday of these blanks once I get them demolded. And I think that's about it. So again, don't forget, guys, Sunday, we have the baby dragon egg video is going up. Just kind of a quickie showing you the turning of this guy. I guess you don't need that thing. It's just a little makeshift stand. But again, I got these little baby dragon guys from Jen over at Stormwinds Creations. So I finally got the first one turned up, and man, awesome. I'm just going to kind of tease you with it. Just a reminder, check out that video Sunday. And then down in the show notes, we have, I put links to the rainbow graffiti blanks. I made a batch of those, a better batch than we did on the stream. So those are up. I think actually there's only about one of them left last time I checked, but there's a link to it. It's actually just a link to my short runs, but the rainbow graffiti blanks are up. The other graffiti blanks that we made are up. And then I also redid a batch of coffee grounds pen blanks. So those guys are all up. Go grab some if you want some. They're available on my website. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to share before we get going here. I don't think so. So anyway, guys, thank you all for joining the fun. I can't wait to see how these guys turn out. Hopefully you guys learned some fun stuff and had a good time in the chat. That's what we always hope for on the streams. And again, don't forget about Sunday's video. Make sure to share it with your friends if you like the video, and bring a friend along to the next stream. And don't forget, patrons, this Friday is the first Friday Hangout and Q&A for you guys. So I will see you guys all on Friday. So anyway, I hope you have a great night, everybody. Thanks again for joining the stream. Thank you, big thank you to all the super chatters. I really appreciate all the support, guys. And I will see you guys all on the next live stream next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Have a good one, guys.